Hello and welcome to Mumthena's English channel. I'm so happy you are here today. This channel is a warm and friendly place where you can improve your English naturally through beautiful stories, listening practice, vocabulary lessons, and everyday conversations. Whether you are a beginner or an advanced learner, every video is designed to help you build confidence and enjoy the learning journey. Take your time, relax, and learn at your own pace. Thank you for being part of our wonderful English learning family. Let's explore new words, new ideas, and new stories together. Happy learning and enjoy the video. Shadow of the Emerald Peak. Learn English through an interactive mountain rescue mystery. The emergency distress signal arrived just before dawn. A sharp tone echoed through the Mountain Rescue Coordination Center, interrupting the silence of the early morning. On the screen flashed a location that instantly caught everyone's attention: Emerald Peak. The mountain was famous throughout the region. Its jagged ridges pierced the clouds like ancient stone blades, and its unpredictable weather had challenged even the most experienced climbers. During the summer of 2026, unusual alpine weather patterns had developed across the mountain range. Meteorologists reported rapidly forming storm fronts, sudden temperature drops, and dangerous wind shear conditions at higher elevations. The signal had come from an emergency beacon belonging to Ethan Mercer, one of the country's most respected elite climbers. But there was a problem. The beacon had transmitted only once before disappearing. No radio contact followed. No movement was detected. Ethan Mercer had vanished. The rescue team assembled immediately. Helicopter flights were impossible because thick cloud layers already surrounded the upper slopes. Ground teams would have to navigate the mountain on foot. As preparations began, a ranger entered the operations tent, carrying something unexpected. "We found this near the eastern trailhead," she said. She placed a weather-beaten journal on the table. Its leather cover was cracked from exposure to snow and ice. The pages inside were stained by moisture and mountain dust. The first entry had been written 3 days earlier. "I have passed beyond the southern escarpment and traversed the narrow ridge above Glacier Hollow. The terrain becomes increasingly unstable beyond the northern outcrop. If these notes are found, continue northeast along the ridgeline until the fractured summit appears." The rescue team studied the words carefully. Every sentence contained navigational clues. Terms like escarpment, ridgeline, outcrop, summit, and terrain immediately became critical vocabulary. The journal suggested that Ethan had intentionally documented his route. But why? And what danger had forced him to leave clues behind? The answer remained hidden somewhere within the mountain. As the team began their ascent, dark clouds gathered over Emerald Peak. The clock was already ticking. The trail grew steeper with every kilometer. Sharp rocks protruded from the mountainside, while patches of old snow covered sections of the path. The rescuers moved carefully, comparing the journal's descriptions with detailed topographic maps. Several hours into the climb, another journal was discovered wedged beneath a stone cairn. This entry was even more mysterious. "The shelter lies beneath the overhanging ridge and beyond the fractured pillar. Do not travel across the snowfield unless visibility remains constant. What appears safe from afar may conceal hidden danger beneath." The team paused to analyze the language. The journal relied heavily on spatial prepositions. Words such as beneath, beyond, across, under, through, and between provided valuable positional information. However, one sentence created confusion. What appears safe from afar may conceal hidden danger beneath. Was Ethan referring literally to crevasses hidden under snow, or was it a figurative warning? The distinction mattered. A literal interpretation could prevent rescuers from walking onto unstable ground. A figurative interpretation suggested betrayal by appearances. The mountains seemed to be speaking through Ethan's words. As they continued upward, they noticed another troubling detail. The handwriting had become shaky. The sentences were shorter. Several words were misspelled. A medical specialist studying the journal reached an unsettling conclusion. "He's deteriorating," she said quietly. "These symptoms suggest exhaustion, hypothermia, or possibly altitude-related illness." Suddenly, the mission became even more urgent. The journals were no longer just navigational guides. They were evidence of a growing medical crisis. By late afternoon, the rescue team discovered a third journal entry near a frozen stream. The writing was faint and uneven. Severe dizziness persists. Coordination has deteriorated. Breathing remains difficult. Left leg injured during descent. Symptoms worsening with elevation. The medical officer immediately began analyzing the terminology. The clues suggested several possible conditions. The climber could be suffering from hypoxia, a dangerous shortage of oxygen. He might also be experiencing acute mountain sickness caused by extreme altitude. The injured leg raised concerns about fractures, ligament damage, or internal bleeding. The rescue team established a temporary radio connection with base camp. The team leader transmitted a detailed dispatch. "Ethan Mercer has likely sustained traumatic injury and prolonged cold exposure. His condition appears to have deteriorated over the past 48 hours. We are proceeding toward his estimated location and will require advanced extraction equipment if contact is established." At base camp, specialists began preparing medical supplies, portable oxygen systems, thermal blankets, trauma kits, vacuum splints. Every piece of equipment could mean the difference between life and death. The mountain remained silent, but the journos continued guiding the rescuers forward. As evening approached, the weather changed dramatically. A powerful storm front advanced from the west. Dark clouds consumed the horizon, while fierce winds roared across the ridges. Meteorologists issued an urgent warning. Blizzard conditions were expected within hours. Visibility could drop to nearly zero. Temperatures would fall far below freezing. The rescuers now faced a difficult decision. If they continued upward, they risked becoming trapped themselves. If they retreated, Ethan might not survive the night. The team leader considered every possibility. "If we proceed now, we may reach him before the storm arrives. If the storm accelerates, however, we could lose our route entirely. If visibility drops below 20 meters, we must establish emergency shelter immediately." Each decision depended upon careful conditional reasoning. Lives hung upon every choice. Finally, the order was given. They would continue. The rescue team advanced through increasingly hostile conditions. "Move north, stay close, follow the ridge, maintain visual contact." Imperative commands echoed through the wind. Snow swirled violently around them. The jagged ridges of Emerald Peak disappeared behind curtains of white. Direction became difficult to determine. Every step required concentration. Every landmark vanished almost as soon as it appeared. Yet the journals continued pointing them forward. Near midnight, one rescuer spotted a faint light dot. At first, it seemed impossible. Then it appeared again, a weak flash. Then another. The team rushed toward the signal. Hidden beneath an overhanging section of rock stood a small emergency shelter. Inside, they found Ethan Mercer, alive but barely conscious. His face was pale from cold exposure. His breathing was shallow. His injured leg was badly swollen. The medical team immediately began treatment. Oxygen was administered. Thermal blankets were wrapped around him. Vital signs were monitored continuously. Despite the severity of his condition, Ethan opened his eyes. With trembling hands, he pointed toward a final journal resting beside him. The team carefully opened the last weather-beaten pages. Inside, they discovered the truth. If these words are being read, then the mountain has tested both our endurance and our understanding. Navigation is not merely about direction. Survival is not merely about strength. The greatest tool carried into the wilderness is knowledge. Every landmark described, every warning recorded, and every symptom documented was left behind so that others might learn. If you have reached this place, then language itself has become the path home. For several moments, nobody spoke. Outside, the storm continued raging against the mountain. Inside, however, a different feeling emerged. Relief, success, hope. The rescue operation began its careful descent toward base camp. Through coordinated communication, precise instructions, and disciplined teamwork, the team guided Ethan safely down the mountain. As dawn broke across Emerald Peak, golden sunlight illuminated the snow-covered ridges. The mystery had been solved. The climber had survived. And along the journey, everyone had mastered valuable vocabulary. Ridgeline, summit, escarpment, terrain, hypoxia, trauma, extraction, visibility, stormfront, elevation, and countless others. The journals that once seemed cryptic had become lessons in survival. The mountain had taught them more than navigation. It had taught them the power of observation, communication, and perseverance. Far below, as rescue helicopters finally arrived, Ethan looked back toward Emerald Peak one last time. The towering mountain stood silently against the morning sky. Its secrets had not been buried forever. They had been discovered through courage, teamwork, and the remarkable ability of language to guide people through even the darkest storms. And as the first rays of sunlight touched the summit, the shadow of Emerald Peak slowly faded away, leaving behind a story that would be remembered long after the snow had melted. A story of survival, learning, and the extraordinary journey home. Thank you so much for spending your time with Mum Thaina's English channel today. I hope you enjoyed the story and learned something new along the way. Remember, every small step you take brings you closer to speaking English with confidence and ease. Keep practicing, keep listening, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to support our growing learning family. I look forward to meeting you again in the next lesson and story. Until then, take care, stay curious, and have a beautiful day. Happy learning!